factories and companies to then make sure that bisphenol A was adopted in the majority of plastic formulas. If you wanted a formula from Dow Chemical, you can research this, or other companies that develop these systems. There's a whole class of plastics that have the bisphenol A in them. It's in printer ink. It's probably in this printer ink right here, but I'm too dumb to check and stop it. And it's infertility everywhere. And then they'll only give the license to factories for this. I mean, so they'll sub-license it to the Chinese, the Indians, the Mexicans, sub-companies in the United States and Europe, knowing they went and found it, then wrote white papers on it. We've written articles about this. Then they deploy it, and then now decades later, French news agency, chemical and plastic containers makes male mice act like females. And then they had George Soros-funded groups come out last year, literally hundreds of articles over a month period, thinking it would hurt me, taking out of context what I said, saying juice boxes are making you gay. Well, no, I was reading studies on air that it's causing hermaphrodite developments in fetal brains of mammals. Not just the genitals, but in the brain. And that's what's causing sexual confusion. And that's, and it's not, again, coldly. It's not an issue of your identity. And they do this to you, and then they have a media system that says it's your identity. Everybody needs to be nice to people. Well, absolutely. People should be nice to you, but and the religious folks shouldn't even be attacking people, because separately from even a religious debate, this has been done to you. This has been done to you. And then you'll watch the George Soros crowds, the chemical engineer promoters. They'll come out and attack this again because I'm here telling you. I mean, is it homophobic to say that these mice had this done to them? No, it's a scientific discussion of how to create infertility and to stop the males and females merging and producing more offspring for a global program of depopulation that your choice has been taken away from you, and this has been done because it affects the brain, it affects the different endocrine systems, it affects the genitals, to the point of that all over the world, in some major studies, upwards of half of the fish and frogs and other amphibians, including reptiles like snakes, have both sexual organs. It's so pronounced, just what's going into the water as runoff in the embryonic development in the eggs of the fish and the frogs, that this is happening. Now, mammals are bigger and tougher, but and their study, this was all done, okay? And the point is, if this has been done to you and you like it, that's because that's now your chemical physiology. You've been re-engineered. I'm not making a moral statement on it. Get past the mind control. I'm saying to you, do you understand that this is a public plan and has been done? Male mice who were exposed as babies to BPA, a chemical common in canned foods and plastic containers, it lines the tin cans, everything, act more like females and are seen as less desirable mates, a U.S. study shows Monday. The findings should have implications on how BPA and bisphenol A may affect human development and behavior, and the study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. That is the most prestigious. The BPA-exposed deer mice in the study look normal, but there's nothing obviously wrong with them, yet they are clearly different, said the lead author at the University of Missouri. Females do not want the mate BPA-exposed male because they're giving off different pheromones. They're giving off a female pheromone. And BPA-exposed males perform worse on spatial navigation tasks. It also stunts you. Development. You go to a restaurant, most of the boys now just look like mutant, brain-damaged people. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just, it's hardcore. The girls are hyper-female. They're growing taller. Their growth hormone. They're having really a form of subacromegalia. And that's why the women, there's a quadrupling now in breast cancer in the last 20 years? Oh, yeah, let's just forget the whole obsession over, men suddenly, everywhere, and it is happening, and the media then saying it's good, do it. You should know you're being chemically programmed. I'm not making a judgment about... because that's a distraction. Okay? You understand? This is being done to you. Now let's get off the sex stuff, because everybody gets obsessed with that. This also increases cancer in males. And there's literally thousands of these studies going back to the 20s and 30s. And current ones, hundreds of current ones. Women, they're not going to tell you why you get that breast tumor and why they then fry you with radiation and bug poison, known as chemo, and suck all the money out of you, and then you'll die, and you'll be put in a box. So let's get off the sex stuff now, because, you know, the Soros will still twist that, and that's fine, because people will actually find the truth. You need to know, women, that the males are feminized. You are hyper-feminized. That's why puberty was 13, 14. Now, on average, it's 10 in the West, everywhere where this is done. And now some girls as young as 3, tens of thousands, now by age 5 are going into puberty. You're hyper-aging as well, and the tissues that are affected more by this hyper-age, so you have the breast of a 95-year-old woman at 30. They've killed you, just like the TSA agents. I'm sorry, they soft-killed most of us. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Call my name out your window.
You know, people ask, why aren't Europeans, why aren't Americans having children? Why does Europe have a 1.3 replacement rate? You know, your granddaddy and grandma had your mom, your dad. They go out, they have children. They go out and meet people, marry them. Why aren't people having children? Why is fertility way down? Why is cancer off the chart? Why is diabetes off the chart? Why are men looking more feminine, behaving in feminine ways, not acting the way males have always behaved? In Europe, they're passing laws where you're not allowed to call boys boys at school. They're not allowing gender. It's because, and this is in the globalist documents, and Aldous Huxley wrote about this in his nonfiction books. His brother headed up the program at the UN, at UNESCO, Julian Huxley, that they would create a hermaphrodite drone that didn't even breed. I mean, look, truth is stranger than fiction. I just unplugged my headset here. Let me get it. And so I had all this other news to cover, and I'll get into what happened with the TSA here in Texas. But here is the article by Paul Joseph Watson, Cancer Surges and Body Scanner Operators. TSA launches cover-up, and they've finally been forced to release some of the NIST documents, but they've blacked out the radiation meter levels. Continuing, they also have measurements of the type of radiation leaking outside of the containment facility, but then they spin it and say, but we say that's safe. But then all the other independent studies say it's not safe, and now we have reports of higher cancer rates, and that the TSA is extremely concerned about all of this. Fearful of provoking further public resistance to naked airport body scanners, the TSA has been caught covering up a surge of cases in TSA workers developing cancer as a result of their close proximity to radiation-firing devices. And again, this is classic lawyer speak. In the document I scanned over earlier, NIST blacks out the numbers because they don't want other engineers ever seeing it and going, that's deadly. They block out the numbers. Then they say, oh, this is safe, but we did measure these numbers outside of the machine splattering. It's like the TSA saying, we didn't make that 95-year-old take her diaper off. We just said you can't fly if you don't. See, it's all these lawyer tricks. Perhaps the most shocking revelation to emerge from the latest Freedom of Information Act documents obtained by the Electronic Privacy Information Center. After union representatives at Boston discovered a cancer cluster amongst TSA workers linked with radiation from body scanners, the TSA sought to downplay the matter and refused to issue employees with dosimeters to measure levels of exposure. Now let's stop right there. It is federal and state law. I know my dad's a dentist. But anybody that's been in a hospital or anywhere around X-ray machines, you know on record that there's a radiation officer. They have to wear the badge. They have to have groups come in every month, check the calibration of the machines, because they get off very often and will fry you. And you've heard about MRIs being calibrated wrong and people's hair falling out and getting cancer. They're so strong. So it's a serious issue, and that's what these are lower intensity MRIs, really. And so they're covering all this up, and it turns out for years, knowing about the cancer clusters. And finally, the TSA are waking up and getting concerned. The problem is the smarter ones will just quit, and they'll hire even more crazy goons. And so they refuse to set up the proper radiation monitoring. Of course, they could be like the EPA now. When radiation went up in the U.S. from Fukushima, they just raised the levels of what they say is safe, more games. The documents indicate how a large number of workers have been falling victim to cancer, strokes, and heart disease. The department, rather than acting on it or explaining its position, seems to have just dismissed it. And it just goes on as it breaks down. This article is so huge. We'll get more into the chemical assault on humanity when we get back.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Waging